Time's up, Admiral.
Here it comes.
All kids out of the pool for Adult Swim. All kids out.
Lego Lord of the Rings Balrog raised eyebrows for what some fans say is an unfortunate pose. I see it. I see it. Oh, I see it. It's taking a piss on Gandalf.
You shall not!
Pee!
Before you go, one question.
Yes?
Where in the galaxy is Sanusi?
Show us your tits and I'll tell you.
There we go. All better now. Man, titties are the greatest things on earth.
One moment, please. I forgot to get something on a tab. 1 second, please. Making sure I get it here. I'm not going to find it. Anyway, I don't think I'm going to find what I want. I should have saved this from the other day. But shame on Adam. Shame on Adam. I should have saved this from the other day for my point, but I didn't realize I was going to make this point till like 15, 20 minutes ago when I was collecting my thoughts on something. Oh, well. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Daily Dive, the Double D's, where I do my best for a channel that YouTube continually punishes for one reason or another. I try my best. Thank you, everybody, for being here today, because this is the show where you, the audience, are in charge. You're here to do whatever you want with my life for about an hour and a half, maybe sometimes 2 hours. And it's that time of the week. I've shaved. I've washed my hair before a stream. Also, I washed my hair because my hat fell on the floor. I was like, shit. Crap. Okay, gotta wash my hair today. I'd already shaved. I had already shaved. So there is that. But I made myself look all pretty for you. So hit the like button for that. Hit the like button for that. Anyway, it is Wednesday, which also means it is Warhammer Wednesday, which means Cal for $20 on Stream Elements. Let's get crumping, boys, for Gork and Mork. That's right. It's Greenskins today. We have a video talking orcs. I'm a Greenskins player. Even if I had ever played 40K, I would have played orcs. It would have been great. I love orcs. Orcs are entertaining. They're fun. They're challenging to play. They're not easy. Animosity is a thing. You must learn how to manage your animosity. So our fun video of the day will be an orc lore video. So stay tuned for that. I do have a couple of things I do want to bring up on my own as soon as I can find. Let me try this. Let me try this. I really do hate using the search option on X, Twitter, because it's so hard to find something if you forgot to bookmark it. Because sometimes you don't realize you need to bookmark something. All right, let's try this. This isn't what I want. This isn't what I want. I need a legitimate thing here. You know what? Let's try this. Let's see if this will do it. No, for as useful as X can be for stuff, it's dog shit if you didn't bookmark something when you saw it to try and find something again. It really is, especially if you don't remember the account you saw it under. All right. Let's try this. Maybe under Ugh, I hate to go here. Hate to go to this channel, to this count. Hate to go to this count. But if I go down long enough, how is these accounts that post entertainment news, they post like 14-year-old girls. So you have to wade through shit to find something you know that they commented on, you know they did, just to get a point across. And almost there. If I can go back far enough, I'm sure I'll find it. This is live television, folks. Ain't I grand? Ain't I grand? So hey, howdy everybody in the chat. I hope you guys are doing all right. The mods are here. The boys are here. No, I would okay. If I'm lazy, listen, I got like 5 hours of sleep last night because I had the most horrible time falling asleep every night for various reasons. So I went to bed really freaking late. So I woke up like right before the show, essentially, just enough time to eat something. And my hat, I would have put my hat on, all right, to cover my unwashed hair, which is sticking straight up in the air, very Super Saiyan style. But then it fell on the floor. So listen, I have a thing about things falling on the floor. It's one of my OCD things, okay? Things fall on the floor, they need to get washed. I have a thing about floors. I just do. I have a thing about floors in thing. I just do. I do. It just accept it's my OCD. Just accept it. All right. So my hat fell on the floor, and I would do that. I can't explain it other than that. Just accept it. Just accept it. You have to accept my weirdness, okay? My OCD hurts nobody but me. That's the point. My OCD hurts nobody but me. All right? It hurts nobody but me. So my hat fell on the floor, which means I couldn't put it on. So I had to go wash my hair last minute before we got started so that I don't look like a weirdo with hair sticking straight up in the air because I sleep on it. Because when I sleep on my hair, when I sleep on my hair, it just sticks straight up in the air in all kinds of weird angles. Smart style? I don't get that. Okay. Listen, I'm not claiming I'm not strange. I'm not saying what I do isn't strange, but it is part of my OCD. It's part of my OCD, and I simply have to accept it. Okay, I'm not finding what I wanted here. So you'll just have to understand what I was saying when I get to it. So I apologize for that when I get to my segment there. So you'll just have to live me. 3-second rule. It used to be the 5-second rule. It used to be the 5-second rule. What's this 3-second rule thing making it even shorter? Listen, like I said, call me weird. I accept it. I know most people don't give a shit when something falls on the floor. They don't care. For a while when I was younger, I also didn't care. But part of my broken brain does care now. Okay? I do not ask you to understand it. I simply request that you accept it. Okay? I simply request that you accept it. It is my thing, and it hurts nobody but me. Okay? Hurts nobody but me. That's it. Okay? So there it is. A window into my damaged psyche. Okay? A window into my damaged psyche. You get that occasionally, and you understand perhaps how my brain tends to work. Anyway, so all right, so I couldn't find the type of post I was looking for. My guess is people might have deleted them after now. Let me try one more thing real quick. Let me try a Google search. Maybe that'll generate it. And 5, 6, 2, 640. See if I can find it. Let me see. It's just to show the retardation. Is this it? No, that's Reddit. I don't want fucking Reddit. There we go. Maybe this will work. There we go. I think I might have. I see somebody who spammed this bullshit. I see somebody spam this bullshit. What? That's heresy right there. That's heresy. Thank you, Rachel. Listen, if anybody can understand my psychological damage, she will. Wait a minute. So somebody said Inner Light is a bad TNG episode. I do have that. I have it. That we're gonna touch on that today. We'll come back to it on Sunday. I do have that. Yes, I do have that. I do have that. No, anyway, so that's Inner Light is a quintessential Star Trek episode. And it's one of the best Picard episodes you're ever going to get. Because it's Picard being both himself and transforming into another person by giving into the memories. And, oh, man. Wow. That is one of the best written, best directed, best performed episodes. Also the idea of what it's like to also the concepts of how much time a dream can cover when you're sleeping, understanding that dream time and real time, what can feel like years and so long in a dream is so quick in reality. There's so many factors that make Inner Light such a great episode. Damn. That's I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised. I would not be surprised. That dude, listen, you think I'm crazy because I don't want to, because I shoot like shit falling on the floor. No, that's true crazy right there. That's somebody who needs psychiatric help. It needs to be like taken out back and, delivered away. Take that however you want. Anyway, all right, let me try this one here. Here we go. I just need one freaking person, and this one might be the one. What day was this from? Of course, they don't show it. At least I know what it looks like. Just gotta keep going a little bit here. Once again, these channels that so-called report entertainment news on X Twitter post like fucking 12-year-old girls. They post more frequently than Dermy does about VTubers. So bad it is. I have to, wait, okay. Okay, no, I need one. It's not the one I'm looking for. I know it's here, unless they deleted it because they're cowards. They might have deleted it because they're cowards. You never know. Let me make sure what the picture looks like. I'll know when I see it. Okay. Come on. I'm burning time here, people. We're burning time. God damn. All right, let's go. Let's use the button push for faster. So I keep scrolling. Scrolling can get annoying. Here it is. Boom. Found it. Ha ha. There we go. Excellent. All right. Let me copy. Copy link. Okay. Put it over here. Cut and paste. Just as an example, because I like to have receipts for the stuff I'm talking about. I want to make sure. There we go. There. Now I'm set for my first topic for myself. Anyway, okay. Enough of me messing around. Enough of examining my psychological behavior. Enough of talking about, for the moment, other people who are insane. Let's get started. The rules are as they always are. $5 to order an Adam rant on anything. $10 to ask me a question on something, rabbit hole discussion. $10 to rent my time to play a video game, which I will be doing for today. Later today, I will be recording my playing of 30 minutes of Furry Hitler and all that's in there. Prof seems to be under the belief that I'm going to have pain and suffering. One, I'm just going to be disappointed that it's porn I can't get excited about because I'm not into furries. And I'm probably going to be bored. Okay, here's the thing. I think that there's a misconception of what causes me pain and this and that. So I'm more likely going to be bored. And having had some experience with games like that, you don't get very much in 30 minutes. So ask me to do 30 minutes of that. But anyway, it can't be streamed. It must be recorded in case something does happen so that I can properly, censor it so that my channel doesn't get hurt by some ducks. Apparently the stream we did the other day where we had the whoopsies, that I didn't get hit. I was fast enough on the draw, fast enough on the trigger to get that pulled down very quickly. Hail Dom, how you doing? All right, so $15 to get me to instant react to any of the articles we may come across, $20 to watch a video, and $30 to rent my time to do a live review on this stream of an episode of television or a movie you may want. But you always got to give me a couple of days to get that done. So them's the things. It also is also Wednesday, so expect some Space Marine 2 later tonight. Should have fun with that. I do enjoy playing that game. It is a lot of fun. All right, so there's that. Let's, you know what? I'm going to do my topic first. As always, I'm going to do my topic first before we get into the news because it will come up in the news. And I really do want to make this clear because here we go. I had said yesterday that I don't want to talk. I'll be happy not to talk about it anymore. But then one last piece of news dropped. And it must be compared to the entire storyline of it. What am I talking about? Well, this week will officially end the run of James Gunn's Superman in the theaters. What was originally was posted that August 15th, they would be pushing it to digital release. But then very quickly, a few days later, counter reports said, no, it's August 26th. And either way, the James Gunn stands. We're going, oh my God, leave it at the movie theater longer. No, they're going to get this thing out as quickly as possible because it is a financial failure. It is a flop. And it's not even a cultural success. And I always say that. I want to make sure people remember, you cannot call something a success in any way, shape, or form when half your audience loves it and half your audience hates it. Because there's no in-between with James Gunn's Superman. You either love it, for whatever reason you love it, either a stan or somebody that just likes it, or you hate it, like me and millions of other people. It's that simple. But we got the news yesterday that it will now officially be dropping on digital on August 15th. And it says here on Park Place, despite strong theatrical hold, that is up for debate. And I say that knowing that I can bring up the numbers, the box office results. Let's take a look here. Here it is, currently standing box office, $583 million worldwide, with a $333 domestic and $249 international. And both of these have essentially underperformed. Because while it has been, for the record, an overall strong box office, it had an incredible second week hold. But after that second week, it dipped and it dipped and it dipped until here we are now, the final week. It is already under $1 million. Yesterday, remember yesterday we talked about this, people going, it has crazy good legs to get another $1 million on a Monday. Well, guess what? It didn't get that $1 million. It dropped under $1 million. And for a Tuesday, only 1.4 million. So you can see, and even though, yes, they've removed it from theaters, so of course its numbers are going to drop, the holds have been weak. And when they were claiming just a couple days ago, they were saying it was going to get between 640 million and 690 million for its total gross at the very end. These numbers do not back it up. It was never going to do that when your domestic is bringing in single digits since week 3. Remember that. It had that strong second week, but by week 3, it was bringing in single-digit haul. And when you combine that with a weak international, extremely weak international, you are not going to hit numbers needed to be profitable. What is profitable? If you go by the actual numbers, $363 million for a production budget based on the Ohio tax receipts, and the reported on marketing budget by even the shill websites like Hollywood Reporter. I've shown you those receipts already in other videos and streams. $150 million to $200 million in production. Marketing. That's a nearly $600 million budget. And because we know the marketing, we don't need to add that extra 0.5. We can just multiply it by 2. That's essentially $1 billion break even. At 583, that's not happening. And this movie's going to struggle now to hit 600 million. It will struggle to hit 600 million if the domestic is now dropping to around 1 million a day for its final now 3 more days. This is Wednesday, Thursday, Friday for its final 3 days before it releases on digital. And every pirate out there will get you HD versions if you want to have it. If you're not going to buy it. And I guarantee all these stands out there who go, oh my God, I have hope. Oh my God, it's so great. I guarantee these dumb twat heads are not going to spend whatever money it is for the digital copy. They will go pirate it because they're hypocrites. They are hypocrites. You could also know that with a number of 333 million, this did not get repeat viewings. People did not go back in hordes or droves to see this movie multiple times. I hope some people claiming, oh, I went to see it for this. No, you didn't. You're a liar. And you're also a liar if you're telling us a lot of people did. If people went to see it multiple times, it would have pulled in $600 to $700 million domestically. Instead, it's an anemic 333 million. It won't even break 350. And this is in a time, remember, where tickets cost more and less people are going to the movies. This is the truth. This is the facts. This is the logic. And if you can't handle it, I can't help you being stupid. And on top of everything, if we play by their rules, and go with the 225 million production and 100 million marketing, their break-even point is 650. They're not even going to hit $650 million. So even if you play by their retarded rules, this movie will lose money. Not a lot of money comparatively to the real numbers, where it will lose likely $300 to $400 million. It will still lose money. It is not a financial success. And in the end, the biggest crime on this is not the movie itself. As much as I dislike this movie, I can let it go. I've let it go. It's the fact you have the propaganda campaign of people constantly coming out and saying, oh, it's gross this much. Everybody loves it because of this reason. Oh, hope, oh, this, flying high, Supergirl tease. All the reasons that they claim this movie is great and keep pushing the propaganda. It had this amount of money on this day. It hit this mark. Oh, it's made more money than that movie. They're pushing so hard to tell you that this movie is a success when in fact, by all logical metrics, it is not. That's what bothers me the most, that people cannot be honest, that they have to craft this vision of success that does not exist. That is what bothers me the most. I hate liars. I hate hypocrisy. And everything surrounding this movie has become lying and hypocrisy because some people can't take the L that this movie did not achieve the success that it needed to as the beginning of James Gunn's DCU. You can like it. Just be honest. Just be honest. If this movie had done real banger numbers, I would have had to be honest that despite my feelings on the movie, it was a success. But, the numbers didn't pan out. So I get to stand in my spot and say, I feel like I was right. And here's all the evidence as to why I'm right. You could try and refute it, but you can't bring the receipts, the numbers. I showed you hard numbers right here. Hard numbers you cannot argue. This, after week two domestically, this is not a roadmap of success. It's a roadmap of mediocrity and mid. And international, well, we know the international. The international is pathetic. 7 billion people around the world said, no, we're not going to see this more than once. And then again, not a lot of us are even going to see it once. There it is. So I'll be very happy now, unless somebody makes me do it or unless something changes in the news zeitgeist or new bit of information. I'll be very happy now to not talk about James Gunn's Superman. I mean, we'll talk about it once more for 2 seconds on Roundtable this weekend when we check the box office, which is our Sunday privilege. But then that's it, because that'll essentially be the final box office numbers. Superman should have been a massive hit. Instead, middling. Okay, I'm done here. All right, there you go. So I had to say my thoughts on this. Essentially, my collected thoughts one last time based upon the numbers of this. And I know some of you in the chat like it. Some of you liked it. Some people I hang out with liked it. But I didn't like it. And essentially, the world didn't like it enough to make it work. Oh, boy. Then there's this. Because Jed mentioned I'm going to bring it up. Oh, wait. No, hang on. God, you know what? Let me check real quick. Maybe they fixed it. Let me check real quick. Maybe they fixed it. Maybe they fixed it. Let me see. Did they fix it? Nope, they haven't fixed it. All right, hang on. Let me bring this over to Chrome tab, and I'll bookmark it so we'll have it for Sunday, so we can come back to it. So Jed brought this up. I said this. I've been saying this for about a week now, and I know I said it yesterday at some point in stream. Well, it's falling exactly where I said it was going to fall, Kratos, between 550 and 650. I said that. I said that from the beginning. I said it from the beginning. So it's falling exactly where I said it was going to fall for production. All people saying, "Oh, it's going to hit 700 million. Oh, it's going to hit $1 billion." The real losers out there. Oh, it's a $1 billion movie. Just wait. No, not even close. Not even close. So I was right. And I love being right. It feels good. I like to be right about things I know. That's it. So anyway, all right. So I've been talking for about a week now. We'll go over this more in depthly on Sunday because Jed, as he said a moment ago, he is anxious to talk about this stuff because Jed, even though he's newer to the franchise than I am, he's way more into the Alien franchise than I am. I've been watching that stuff essentially since its inception, give or take a few years, because I wasn't alive at certain points. But I always liked it, but I never got into it as much as he has. But he really loves it, especially the original. And Alien Earth coming out on, I guess, FX. I think it's on FX. Essentially, I said from as soon as we heard about it, it was going to be a disaster. I said nobody's really going to care about it. When they started saying that it's going to be our Game of Thrones, it's going to be this, going to be that, I was like, oh man, you are way off. You are way off on this one. Nobody is excited for this show. Nobody asked. It's one of the situations. Nobody asked for this show. Plain and simple. Nobody asked for Alien Earth because it fucks with the lore and it fucks with the timeline. So what do you think? What do you think people are going to say now when you get a review, a statement like this? Somebody called Sarah Clements 2.0. The Alien franchise has always been about the body, its boundaries, its vulnerabilities, its transformations. Alien Earth reframes this through a sharp, queer-coded lens, a haunting fusion of sci-fi, corporate dystopia, and Peter Pan references. My review. And notice what she is. She's a pronoun user. She's got the appropriate flag. She's got everything that shows you she's an ally. All that kind of stuff. This is insanity. I've already seen even Gary post something on this saying it's not even remotely alien at all. They've got powered armor. I don't know. It's nuts. It's nuts. This thing is a disaster. It's going to be a disaster. And it's going to be forgotten very quickly. In a time where people want to watch genre television desperately because it's the most exciting thing out there when it's good, nobody's going to watch this. It's going to fall flat. So this is just a taste. We're going to get into this more this weekend. In fact, we might even read this review of it. That might be fun to read this psychopath's review, this queerdo's review of it come Sunday. Because guess what? It's been a slow week. We're going to need something to talk about. There is a touch on it. I'm sure Jed is already champing at the bit to just rant on this thing. I know I would be if I cared as much as he did about the franchise. All right, so that's just a taste. That's just a taste of what we're going to get into with that. Otherwise, let's get into the news, shall we? Shall we get into the news? Where is it? Is this the news? Yes, that's my news tab. There it is. Hey, all right, let me refresh everything. It's been a few minutes. It's been a little bit since I set this up. And there we go. All righty then. Let's remind the rules because that's when we do this. We put the rules up. Okay, here we go. All right. As always, what are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing, StreamYard? What is going on here? Anyway, okay. So StreamYard, share window. Everything's sort of laggy all of a sudden. I don't know why. I blame Chrome tab. Wish if they would just do Firefox audio, it would be so much easier. So much easier. Anyway, okay. On Variety. Kid Cuddle opens up about Diddy. We don't talk Diddy. Still don't talk about Diddy. Warner Chappell names Austin Adams president of National Division. Don't care. Adolescent stars Owen Cooper and Aaron Dougherty on overnight fame, Spider-Man rumors, and getting accolades from Adele and Steven Spielberg. Sure, whatever. American Black Film Festival expands to New York, LA, Dallas, Atlanta, whatever. Lindsay Lohan on Cheyenne Woodley limited series Count My Lies greenlit at Hulu. Once again, we will comment good for Lindsay Lohan getting her life back on track after Hollywood did her dirty. Literally did her dirty. They abused that poor girl. Dan Levy's Netflix crime comedy gets title, casts Jack Innan, Elizabeth Perkins, and more. Still not caring. NBC Universal acquires Robert Ludlum's Born and Treadstone book series, a massive deal. So, does that mean we're going to get a Born TV series on Peacock? Because that's what that tells me this is setting up for. I mean, that's what that tells me this is setting up for. You don't acquire this if you're not going to turn into TV because they've already done the movies. They can't do movies because they already did all those movies. They can't replace those movies, but you can do it as a TV show in order to do it a different way. So that tells me that you're going to get, because they're not going to put it on network television because nobody watches network television. But Peacock's, my point in bringing up that is that Peacock's their only option. That's their only option because nobody watches NBC anymore. Nobody watches USA. Nobody watches Sci-Fi Channel. And those are the outlets of Comcast, NBC Universal for putting out TV shows. So the only option is to put it out on Peacock as a TV show. I mean, that's how my logic works. They could, of course, put it on network television and watch it really not be watched by anybody. So that's what that tells me, that they're going to do that. That's what that tells me. It does have last I remember about Peacock in terms of watching it, it does have a dedicated subscriber base who do watch it. Based on its metrics of subscribers it gets and people watching, Peacock is successful in its window. Not a lot of people have it, but who has it, and its numbers do grow at its rate that works for them. They're actually operating in the black. Last I heard, Peacock actually operates in the black. It's not losing money like Disney Plus. So take that for what it is. And I don't know how relevant the Bourne franchise is anymore. I really don't. I mean, when Jed and I went to Universal a few months ago, we went to the Bourne Stunt Spectacular. We're going to be honest. We went in there because it was hot and we needed to sit down, and it would allow us to do that. That's why we went in there. We didn't go in there because, I mean, we sort of wanted to see. We're sort of curious, but we went in there because it had air conditioning and it had seats, and my feet were killing me because I was wearing shoes that I shouldn't have been wearing for that kind of theme park attendance, for walking around the theme park. So my feet were destroyed, and I was also still sick, so I wasn't in top form. So it was packed, but it's not like people were banging. It wasn't a massive line. It was just like, okay, we're going to fill the appropriate amount of seats and be done with it. So I don't know how popular the Bourne stuff is. Anyway, primetime TV ads. Primetime TV sees ad dollars decline for a third consecutive upfront, but streaming lens there. Okay, I didn't even see that was the next story there. There it tells you ads are dropping on terrestrial television, and nobody is watching. Nobody's watching it anymore. So that. Okay, Prof, if you want to hear my statement on that, we haven't done it yet, and go back like 20 minutes and you'll hear my response. I'm getting into it later today. You'll get it, but I don't think you're going to get the response you want from me. I really don't. I think your definition of what causes me pain and what actually does are two different things. It's more going to be like boredom and disappointment. Boredom that it's a game type of game. I've played those types of games, and two, that it's porn I won't even be interested in. So, all right, Fandango. So here's my point. Terrestrial television is dying because nobody's giving ads to it. Nobody's watching it. But streaming is unfortunately the way things are. Fandango makes multiple sales on... Oh, I don't care about that, Fandango. HBO Max and G-Kids strike exclusive licensing deal for 20 adult animated and live-action films. Well, I hope that's successful. Well, out of all of them, HBO Max is the best at making the television because they have people who know how to make television. Do they take too long? Oh, for damn sure. For damn sure they take too long. But they're the ones that know what they're doing. That's for sure. Taylor Swift, who gives a fuck about Taylor Swift? Fran Drescher will end her single term as head of SAG-AFTRA. I don't care. It's union, so it's bullshit. Don't care. This dude's apparently dead. Don't know who he is. What's this? No. Leonardo DiCaprio, I hate you anyway. Don't care. All right, the other big story, because we are 2 days away from it, YouTube. Oh, it's launched it now. It's launched it early. YouTube launched the age verification in U.S. automatic restrict users. Okay. I'm going to say this briefly on this because a lot of people are crying. I've already made some statements a while ago, but I'm going to make these statements now so you understand where I am on this. Is this YouTube AI age verification thing wrong? Yes. Should people be pushing back on this? Yes. But let's wait till it happens. And all right, Static, you bring it up. I'm sorry, but Cloud is crying like a little bitch before anything happens. Oh, woe is me. I watched kitty stuff. I'm going to get punished. Why don't you wait until you get punished? That's my whole point. Let's wait until it starts happening to build proper case and proper evidence as to why it's wrong so that you can bring the case and make the arguments. The pre-bitching and whining is what's pissing me off the most about this. It's wrong. It's stupid. It should happen. But Cloud crying like this is dumb. I don't care. Cloud crying, hey, everybody, I'm going to be punished before it even happens. I'm sorry. When you're punished, then we'll be on your side and we will take up your case. We'll take up the torches and we will fight for your right to not be punished, even though you're being retarded about this. That's my point. It already happened. Where? Yeah, it's rolled out, but I'm talking about Cloud and certain people. Has Cloud been affected? Because if he hasn't, then I don't want to sitting. Well, I need receipts. I need receipts. So I mean, I know it's been rolled out. I heard this morning it had been rolled out early, and some larger channels have reported that it is slightly affecting their channels. So they're starting to fight it. But we need to get actual evidence. My whole point of what I'm saying about is this. Let's get the actual evidence instead of chicken littling this shit. Let's get the actual evidence, actual receipts, because you can't fight something until you have receipts. So if it's happening, then let's get the evidence together. Cloud crying that he's going to get penalized for watching Pokemon and stuff like that. That doesn't move me. And that's my point. That it is pre-bitching. Cloud has not been penalized. That's my point. He is pre-bitching. Nothing's happened to Cloud yet. He's pre-bitching. And I'm using Cloud as an example because Cloud is somebody in our direct network and sphere who's been crying about this literally for 2 weeks before it's even happened. So my point is this, for everybody who is against this, yes, be against it. Get ready. But pre-bitching doesn't solve anything because your pre-bitching is not an argument to make against YouTube. It's not an argument. When it happens and you could show that it has done this to you and done that to you, even though you are an adult, and that the AI is retarded and stupid and should not be making these decisions. Once you have that evidence, then yes, let's make the case. Let's create the pushback, the active revolt against YouTube. And I'm going to go back to also what I said. I don't know if I said this privately or publicly. This is going to happen. And the amount of shitstorm, if it does start to hurt people's channels and hurt people's accounts, the shitstorm that will come down on YouTube will result in a relatively quick turnaround. They will rescind this. They will pull it back. Remember how quickly they pulled back the changing of everybody's handles in chat? And that was a minor annoyance that didn't really hurt anything. It was minor. Some people got doxxed. Like Kel mentioned, he got doxxed, but that was a small thing. Look how quickly that got rolled back. So this is dumb overall. And when it happens in full and we have evidence and the shitstorm falls upon them, they will reverse because you know what's going to hurt them financially. The moment it starts to hurt them financially, they will pull it back. Because if large channels that bring in revenue, that feeds YouTube's pocketbook, when that starts to damage things, then they're going to reverse it. That's my prediction. This will not last long. I can't say how long it will be and what is last long. I don't know, a few weeks, a month or so, maybe 2, and then they'll reverse it because it's a bad idea. They have the handles again? Really? Huh. See, I haven't seen them since they vanished. Well, either way, it's going to damage the brand, and they're going to reverse it. It's a big deal, but let's wait till it happens. I'm saying, and I'm not. I don't want people to misunderstand me saying, "Oh, you shouldn't just wait and let things happen." No, you can voice your concerns, but don't start crying wolf until you have actual evidence when it's happening, because you can't make a case until you have evidence. Being wary, being worried is not evidence, especially in these cases, these situations where you need it to actually break it down. So those are my thoughts on this. And I believe it's going to work out. It's going to happen. There will be evidence of some people getting hit. I don't know if Cloud's going to get hit. Cloud is pre-bitching, and that's just annoying as fuck. But when it happens, there will be evidence. Large, loud voices will come together to push back. And YouTube, after a period of time, will reverse this and make it like it never happened. It's that simple. That's my prediction. I don't know the timeline of how long it's going to take, but in the end, I think that's what's going to happen. That's just what my logic tells me, because YouTube is still greedy. Still greedy. Just greedy. Okay. All right, let's move on. These are nothing. No one wants to watch these things here. Moving on. Candace Parker will focus on college basketball. Don't care. Netflix acquires AKA Charlie Sheen doc chronicling the star's journey from winning to losing, then surviving. Yeah, Tiger Blood. Tiger Blood. What was that go? Tiger Blood? Tiger Ninja Blood? I don't remember. Ninja Tiger. I don't remember. Pride and Prejudice and Vampires' new AI-driven role-playing platform launches with plans gamify fan fiction across books, movie, TV. Ooh, that's gonna be disgusting. That's gonna be disgusting. Netflix releases Stranger Things scripts to first 4 seasons. How to buy collector's item online. All right, I gotta ask this. Does anybody actually care enough about Stranger Things to buy the scripts for collection purposes? Does Stranger Things have that kind of fan base? Want this? What do you mean about Charlie Sheen? Netflix got rights to his documentary, and of course, it's gonna have everything from his Brat Pack years, or not Brat Pack years, his young career years, to being a bad boy, to then getting the high five, and Tiger Blood and all that shit. Winning. I mean, the term winning is we say the term winning because of Charlie Sheen. So there you go. It should be, that would probably be fascinating for some people to watch. I'm not going to. And then ask question: does Stranger Things even have a fan base that would buy this stuff? Does anybody do? Yeah, and we say winning because of Charlie Sheen. That's in the zeitgeist because of Charlie Sheen. Winning totally is. Daniel Day Kim's Butterfly is all action with little heart. TV review. Sure. Steve trailer. Cillian Murphy is the head teacher at a reform head teacher. Should that be 2 words? At a reform school, a new Netflix drama. Don't care. Those clips were wild. Ninja Tiger Blood, something like that. I forget what it was. I had a friend who found that really funny. He used to say it all the time. Marty Supreme trailer. Timothy Chalamet plays ping pong and charms Gwyneth Paltrow in Joff Safdie's 1957 movie. I can't take Timothy Chalamet seriously. I just cannot. Take him seriously. Let's go one more. Then we'll move on. Brendan Fraser's Rental Family sets BFI. Oh, boo. BFI London Film Festival Gala. Yeah, there's this Brendan Fraser movie out there where he is an actor who basically gets hired to be a white guy in Japan on a show or something. I don't know. For like promotion, I don't know. I like Brendan Fraser, though. I like Brendan Fraser. My Brilliant Friend gets Turkish adaptation from OGM Pictures. Anthony Starr says, goodbye to Homelander as the boys' final season rep shooting. We created a monster, and I will miss him. I never watched 1 second of The Boys because I'm not interested in it. Never have been. And I'm glad I wasn't. Armenian documentary, don't care. Dane Kameljan on his freewheeling utopian desire lines and slipping into a different mold in the Cardinal main competition title. That looks very gay right there. MechTube, my love. I don't even know what that is. Anything here of interest? Alicia Silverstone doesn't want to mess up the Clueless legacy with sequel series. We will do our very best to honor the original. Yeah, sequel series. We talked about that a couple months ago. It's coming out. And it's going to be strange considering some people are dead. They're either going to recast or just pay homage. Don't know. And this from yesterday, John Boyega, we talked about that. Alien Earth premiere with gory xenomorphic kills and epic spaceship craft and corporate espionage in one of FX's best shows. Yeah, probably not. Hollywood Reporter. Who the F is Mark Maron without podcasting? He's about to find out. I don't even know who that is. Other stuff. Let's go to IGN. I think I might be taking Hollywood Reporter off of the rotation. Might be doing that. Okay, we already talked about the YouTube stuff. South Park fans have to wait until next week for new episodes. Series takes a fresh pause amid controversy. Well, again, I don't really care about South Park anymore, but it is. I don't think it's going the way they wanted it to, because people are asking a lot of questions. Why didn't you go this hard on Biden? That's what people are asking. Why didn't they go that hard on Biden or Kamala, who were ripe for mockery with everything they did? They just hate Parker and Stone don't like Trump. They haven't liked him since 2016. All right. So that's my answer to that. They really don't like Trump. They're not TDS. They just don't. It's not TDS. They just don't like him. So they're going to make fun of him because it makes them feel good. I personally don't care. Capcom shares a cinematic trailer for upcoming mobile strategy game Resident Evil Survival Unit. RE fans, is this something you guys want to play? I asked that question as a non-RE guy. Metal Gear Solid Delta's delayed multiplayer won't have crossplay, and it's not going to do down well with fans. Okay. I don't play those games either. I have no opinion. Sim game Inzoi announces PS5 version is on the way, but an Xbox port is not yet confirmed. What are we talking about? We're talking about that. What are you talking about here? I understand why they didn't. Why? Because we're complaining that the Trump jokes. See, I haven't watched it. I don't know if the jokes are good or not. I don't even know if the jokes are good or not. That's the thing. Yeah, that's the thing. I think they just don't like him. That's my point on that. I think they just don't like him, and they're not. It's a weird way to go. Spending so much time on Trump. It's just a weird way when there's so many other things going on. I mean, right now, why not do an episode on YouTube age verification? Why not do that? Like make it a Randy episode or something like that. That'd be real easy. And they probably make it funny. All right, Phasmophobia dev is working really closely on Blumhouse on its big screen adaptation. Phasmophobia, okay, Phasmophobia players, would you really care about going to see a Phasmophobia movie? Because I know some of you guys in the chat play it. Would you go see that? Oh no. Wednesday smashes records as season 2 reaches 50 million views. What's a view? And I've heard mixed reception to this. So what's a view? Views mean shit. It's final time to leave PS4 and Xbox One behind. PUBG has decided. PS4, it's over. We're past that generation now. My PS4 still gets used. It's the DVD player in the living room. It still gets used. Running Man exclusive new photos at New York City Comic Con announcement. I'm not going to watch this movie. I like the original Running Man is great. It's camp. It's beautiful. It's great. I'm not going to care about this. Nintendo fans are bemused to see Sony running the Legend of Zelda movies official social media account. Link your profile. Why? If people are using it as a browser, why is it? I don't know. That's weird mind stuff I don't care about. Warner Brothers wants Zach Krager to make a Weapons prequel starring Aunt Gladys. And Warner Brothers just learned nothing. You learned nothing. Hi, successful movie. Let's make a prequel. No. Don't make a prequel. Don't make a fucking prequel. No more fucking prequels for anything. Jesus. Stalker 2 developer reveals a big engine update is on the way. I'm not even sure what that game is. Someone needs to tell me. I don't know what that game is. Ubisoft discusses Assassin's Creed's modern-day future after being relegated to Shadow's unlockable text logs. We are not retconning what we have done in the past. Your franchise is dead and you killed it. Nobody cares. There's your answer. Crimson Desert unavoidably delayed to Q1 2026 due to longer than expected timelines. Hey, if a game ain't working, don't release till it's done. Better to delay and release a game, have it work, than release something broken that people will play and then not want to come back and play. Better to do it. Now, to forget if that's a co-op, I think is it Crimson Desert a co-op or a straight-up RPG? I don't remember. I know it's open world. I don't remember, though. I know I was sort of interested in it. I remember being, I might check this out. So I don't remember. I have no memory. Capcom is aware of crashing issues in Monster Hunter Wilds. Assures fans it's working on the issue. All right. Better fix that shit. Hell, last night we're playing Tainted Grail, and I'm crashing a lot. Fortunately, I have autosave, and I save frequently, so it's not too bad. But it's annoying. Fix it. And I've sent in multiple reports now, and I'm sure I'm not the only one. So where's a patch to fix it? Problem is, I'm almost done with the game. We're heading into like the next section, the final section of the game. So I'm going to be done with it probably in another week or so. Most likely, maybe another week or two, honestly, depending on how often we get to play it. Another Marvel star just confirmed they're in Avengers Doomsday. Fans believe. Nobody cares about Ms. Marvel. Stop. The full stop. That doesn't help your movie. Not at all. In fact, it makes it worse. Next fan favorite game to join Nintendo Switch Online's retro library is Chibi Robo. I would need a Nintendo drone to tell me what that is. Charlie Cox says he's filmed Daredevil Born Again's second and final season, though Kingpin actor offers hope for more. No, you're done. Daredevil aborted. You're done. Your first season was a flop. This season ain't going to do much better. You might get a couple of people who have to watch your reviews, but you lost everything else towards it. And this is stuff from yesterday now. Blizzard's going to unionize. Hey, Blizzard's going to unionize. Yay! No, fuck unions. It's not going to help Blizzard at all. All right, Park Place. We already talked about this. Dark Universe shows potential for Halloween activities, though none announced yet. 2025. Daredevil, Warner Brothers, Superman talked about that. War of the Worlds, officially one of the worst 100 films of all time. I've heard it's terrible. Greg Gutfeld did massive ratings boost on Fallon's Tonight Show because Gutfeld's more popular than Fallon. That's why. Intergalactic Heretic Prophet actress Tati Gabrielle mocks gamers in new interview, claims they're going to play that game anyway and love it. Yeah. No. Nobody's going to buy your game. No one's going to buy your game. That's a very simple fact of the world. That's a very simple fact. Disney World covers or removes most Star Wars Galactic Star Cruiser signage. Oh, remember that $1 billion disaster? It's a $1 billion disaster nobody wants to talk about. All right, that's it. All right, them's the articles, them's the news, and I'm sticking to it. So you guys have your choices if you want. Let's check Stream Elements for anything else. Nope. Just Warhammer Wednesday. So with that said, why don't we get to Warhammer Wednesday? Let's do it. Courtesy of Kel, we are on Wes Hammer. I think we've seen one of his videos before. So let's get to it. Oh, Big O's, we're not done. It's Warhammer Wednesday. We're going to talk Warhammer now. We're not done. We are not done. Okay, so here we go. Thank you, Kel, for the $20. Let's get to it. Okay, it's a decent amount. Now, remember, let's remind everybody. I said it before again. I am an orc guy. I'm an orc player. I'm a greenskins player when I play fantasy. If I had played 40K, I would have played greenskins too. I love orcs. They're funny. They're hilarious. I played orcs in Blood Bowl. I, of course, played them in Gorka Morka for a short run. There was another one where I played orcs. So I played orcs every chance I could get in every game. Orcs are fantastic. They're fun. Animosity is amusing. And their history, of course, in 40K is different from their history in fantasy. So, different. So, and we already got a taste of what their history is. We know they were created by the Slan to fight in the war against the Necrons. So, but of course, once the Slan were gone, they evolved in a different direction. I love orcs, so let's have some fun with a WOG! Let's do it. Go.
The orcs are hands down the most crazy and over-the-top faction in all of Warhammer 40K. And
first, I got to say, I do not dig this guy's hair, and he's a little in my face right now. It's just, dude, stop jumping at me so hard. My fists are already up. I got to say, my fists are already up. I kind of feel threatened by this guy. I don't know.
Personally, I think they're the most popular as well. Everybody in the 40k community has a favorite faction, and it's a time-honored tradition to justify our personal favorite by talking shit about everybody else's. That being said, I have never heard somebody speak ill of the orcs. They're great, and everyone loves them, and I will not tolerate anyone saying otherwise. Today, we're going to be talking about all of the different orc clans because they're all wildly different from one another and have some pretty interesting conflicting philosophies on the nature of the universe, the best way to live one's life, and most importantly, what's the best way to get stuck in a fight? We're going to be talking about a clan of orcs that is famed for being the biggest, toughest, and meanest around, due to the fact that their primary strategy of warfare revolves around charging headlong into the enemy guns. A clan of orcs that is seen as outcast by all the rest, as they
that's one thing you gotta understand. Orcs don't have a numbers problem because their repopulation rate, their birth rates are insane because there's spores. At least they were in fantasy. They might have to tell you in this one. I'm not sure how they basically have sex or populate or spawn in this one, but orcs spawn really fucking quickly and they grow really quickly. So throwing your it's a numbers game with orcs. It's a war of attrition, and they usually win because they have so much.
They actually take the time to come up with tactics and strategies rather than just charging into the fight. A ridiculous concept to the orcs. We're also going to be talking about a clan that's not actually a clan at all, and is made up of a bunch of different orcs from different tribes that were kicked out for being a weird bunch of misfits. So what did they do instead? Band together and become pirates. We're going to be talking about all that and a whole lot more. But first, a quick shout out to this video's sponsor, and then we're going to dive headfirst into the grimdark. If you've been watching my channel for a long time, then you know I'm a massive fan of Into the AM, as not only do they make some of the coolest graphic tees on the internet, but they've been a sponsor of this channel since basically the beginning. They're always a pleasure to work with, and behind the scenes, they're an oddly wholesome company. I wear these shirts just about every single day, even when I'm not making a sponsored segment for them. They're comfortable, shrink resistant, have some of the best designs I've ever seen, and as is most important in these trying times, super reasonably priced, as you can get a bundle of 3 of their graphic tees for only $60, or 3 of their basic tees for only $49.95. On top of that, if you use the code WesHammer at checkout, or the link in the description of this video, you can save an additional 10% off your entire order. And that code is good for the entire website. Guys. Whether you're buying a bundle, getting something out of the discount section, or picking up one of their fantastic new designs. If I'm being honest with you, at this point, I think I own like 20 or 30 of their shirts, and every single time I think I have enough,
I just want to go at his head with a razor and shave that.
The big news is that this weekend, Into the AM is having a massive site-wide sale. So now is the perfect time to pick up some amazing shirts. And the best part is my discount code stacks with any of the savings you'll find during that sale. The sale runs from right now through the weekend. So go to intotheam.com and pick out something awesome. You can thank me later. Big thanks to Into the AM for sponsoring this video. Out of all the factions in the 42nd millennium, none quite capture 40k's brutality quite like the orcs.
I gotta hope that he just stays off camera now. I really hope he stays off camera.
They are savage, aggressive, and admittedly, kind of hilarious. There are a lot of different types of orcs.
I wonder if they're going to talk about worshiping Gork and Mork. I wonder if they will.
There are 6 different clans that each have their own different philosophies and way of conducting war.
Each of the clans has their own particular...
Oh, man, don't do a voice. Don't do a voice. Come on.
Thing, see? The Evil Sons is fast, loves their trucks. The Death Skulls is a bunch of filchers. Bad Moons is snobby and flash. And the Blood Axes is a pack of filthy Umi lovers. And the Snake Bites is just weird. Us Goths is the biggest, and the greenest, and the meanest, of course. That's what makes us the best bosses.
The orcs are a race that doesn't waste time thinking about the nonsensical traditions of other species, like military organization, caste-based systems, or even an individual's role.
If you're the strongest, you're in charge. It's that simple.
Within society. And to the orcs, this is all done at an instinctive level. Each and every one of the boys knows exactly who and what they are, and knows where to find other boys that think just like they do. The closest thing resembling any kind of actual structure that the Imperium has been able to witness within orc culture is that of the tribes, clans, and warbands. The structure of an orc tribe is remarkably simple, especially when you compare it to the often archaic hierarchical structures within the Imperium of Man. And you can think of it like this. A tribe is ruled over by a warlord, And the tribe itself is made up of a bunch of different war bands that are each ruled over by a war boss. Each of those war bands is in turn made up of a bunch of different mobs. Groups of orcs bound together as social or fighting units, often coming together with a preferred style of combat. Tribes include every boy, squid.
I just love it. I love this artwork. I just love looking at orcs. It's like, yeah, we're stupid as fuck. We're gonna destroy your entire civilization, but we're stupid as fuck.
Big runt, orc war engine, or odd boy making a claim to any location that they happen to wander into, as well as any shiny gubbins they happen to come across.
That dude, see, look right there, that dude. No, it's not working. Right there, that guy. He's got a fucking knife stuck in his head. He's got a knife stuck in his head. I love it.
The culture of which varies from tribe to tribe. Some orc tribes are built out like a sprawling scrap fortress, giant clusters of junk strewn together vaguely in the shape of an encampment. They are like a vast junkyard, a shantytown that can have all types of different orky facilities, some of which would include mech boy workshops, pain boy clinics, squig pens, weird boy towers, scrap-built bunkers, shoddily dug-out racetracks, and even fungus-infested pits that are the equivalent of latrines to the orcs. But they just call them, quote, the drops. But that's just one type of tribal encampment. They can come in numerous different shapes and forms, limited only by the imagination of their green-skin inhabitants. Some tribes don't build permanent structures at all, preferring to live a more nomadic lifestyle. This is pretty common with tribes made up entirely of speed freaks or beast snaggers. These groups live off the land and smash everything to bits, thieving and eating whatever they want from the wreckage. There have even been reports of a tribe encampment that takes the form of a mobile fortress, created by the eccentric mech boys of the tribe and dragged along by huge teams of trample squigs or motorized vehicles. There are countless tribes and warbands spread out across the galaxy, and most of which will end up being home to orcs from many different clans. As are most things within orc society, tribes are not traditionally seen as permanent. They can sometimes break apart if they get too large and infighting occurs.
Animosity. I wonder if he's going to talk about animosity properly.
Which is pretty common with the orcs, as they may end up being shattered in a particularly violent war. If it happens that after such an event there are any
Wog. Why can't these people say it right? It's like the second time in these types of videos. It's called wog. Wog. A wog, not a wah. It's wog.
survivors, they may end up joining a new tribe. They normally find sanctuary in groups that have particularly large abundance of orcs from their own clan. And the roots of the clans run deep throughout orc society and touch on every tribe no matter where they happen to be located. Tribes can owe allegiance through the clan system to orcs they have never met before, separated by vast subsectors. And each individual tribe can be full of orcs from different clans. You can think of it like an orky caste system that is not enforced by societal norms or birthrights, but more so by something ingrained within the orcs at a subconscious level. You see, when each and every orc is created, they instinctively know which clan they belong to. It's not a conscious choice that they make. Each clan is made up of orcs that all collectively share very specific obsessions, inclinations, outlooks, and philosophies. This like-minded view of things is what most orcs describe as their culture. If you didn't know, the orcs put very specific superstitious beliefs on different colors, and due to the orcs' inherent ability to bend reality around their beliefs, there does appear to be...
Yeah, that's the thing, you see. The stronger they believe in stuff like Gork and Mork, the stronger, like, at least in fantasy, shamans' abilities will be. It really is a faith-based. They believe that shit's going to work, it's going to fucking work. Because you collect the WOG energy. That's the thing. The stronger the WOG energy is, the stronger the power is going to be. So if they're really feeding into it, the more powerful the forces are. And they will bend reality. That is the thing.
Some truth to this notion. The most classic example of which being that the orcs believe red things go faster, so a vehicle painted red will in a very real sense go faster than all the rest. They believe blue things are lucky, yellow things make better explosions or generate more wealth, stuff painted black is tough to kill, etc., etc. Each orc has a favorite color, and with very little exception, they will end up finding like-minded brotherhoods of color enthusiasts in whatever clan they happen to be part of. All of them wearing clothing and painting their armor in the same colors. But a clan is more than just aesthetics. All of the orcs within a clan also favor particular styles of war, and tend to have similar outlooks on life, the galaxy, and just about everything else you can think of. There are a lot of different clans throughout the galaxy, but there are 6 main ones that we're going to focus on. the Goth clan, whose color of choice is black, and whose members tend to be bigger and tougher than other orcs. The Evil Sons, who wear reds and oranges and produce the most speed freaks, orcs that are particularly obsessed with going fast. The Death Skulls, which are an orc clan that are known as a bunch of thieving gits, and tend to smear themselves in lucky blue paint. The Blood Axes are a weird clan that have a particular fondness for wearing camouflage. They utilize tactics and strategies that they've witnessed other species using in battle, a concept that is unthinkable to other orcs. The Snakebites are another weird one, in that they're a clan that favors what they refer to as the old ways, wearing leather and primitive clothing and refusing to use any complex orc technology. And finally, there's the Bad Moons, and everybody hates the Bad Moons. Well, except for the Bad Moons, of course. Yellow is their preferred color, and they're known as a bunch of rich gits. So let's talk a little bit more about each one of these clans in detail and figure out what makes all of them unique. And we'll start off with the Goths. The orcs of the Goth clan are known for being the biggest, meanest, and toughest orcs around. They prefer to fight on foot, typically in huge, ground-pounding mobs that are somewhere between a military formation and an all-out riot. They resemble something like a rolling tidal wave of black and green that obliterates everything in its path. When fighting alongside other clans, the Goths have a tendency to bully their way to the front, eager to get stuck in the fight. They display traits of overt belligerence in the face of imminent peril, a characteristic that they take as a point of pride. No self-respecting Goth who is right in his head would ever shout things like "take cover" or "maybe we should think about this."
That is the standard most orcish mentality there. We're going to charge you, we're going to overwhelm you with our numbers, and if we lose people, doesn't matter. We're going to spawn more anyway.
No, the Goths' way of fighting is to charge in swinging around a big choppa, screaming war cries at the top of their lungs. Now, just because they prefer fighting on foot doesn't mean that the Goths are against hopping in a truck or a battle wagon from time to time. The Goth clan is not stupid, and they understand that these machines can get them into a fight quicker, which at the end of the day is all anyone can really ask for. They also have a soft spot for big stompy mechs like Death Dreads, Gorkanauts, and Stompas, all of which can trample their way into a fight, swinging around giant metal fists or whirling buzzsaws. If you were to ask a member of the Goth clan what their preferred weapon was, and most of them would answer something pretty similar, that nothing beats a good old-fashioned choppa and whatever gun fires the most shells per second. But if push were to come to shove, a member of the Goth clan wouldn't scoff at the opportunity to wield something bigger and more killy. Likewise, power claws have become a widely respected melee weapon of choice within the clan. The thing about the Goths is they have a deep dislike of anything they consider to be, quote, mucking about. Now, for the orcs, this takes the form of anything that wastes time that could be better spent fighting. They don't like using flashy, unpredictable technologies or coming up with strategies and tactics. They consider themselves to be the orkiest of orcs and will happily take any excuse they can get to prove that claim with their fists, tusks, and choppas.
They sound like it. I mean, these guys sound like quintessential orcs. Get in there, kill everything. It doesn't matter. No questions asked. It truly is rush and kill while screaming at the top of your lungs. Nothing complicated.
Because of their way of life, the Goths do have the highest rate of attrition amongst the clans. Now, this isn't something they are particularly bothered by, as the younger orcs that couldn't make it through the Goths' brutal headbutting contests or pit fights wouldn't have survived in a headlong charge into enemy guns anyways. This weeding out of the weak has led the surviving Goth clan members to be warriors that have seen constant, nearly non-stop battle. And with the orcs, the more they fight and the more battles they win, the larger they grow.
Yep, bigger and bigger.
Because of this, the Goths have an overabundance of knobs and produce some of the best.
Knob. That is a term for essentially gang boss. That's a term for gang boss, and that translated to other things. Like when we play Necromunda back in the day, every leader of a gang would just be called a knob. So that is a term for just basically a gang leader.
War bosses in the entire galaxy. If the Goths prefer to fight on foot, then the Evil Sons are almost the exact opposite of them, in that all of their members have an undeniable urge to travel as fast as they can. They are completely obsessed with raw speed, and their philosophy on life comes down to acquiring ever faster and shootier vehicles. They race across the battlefield, howling like lunatics, moving unpredictably, whooping and roaring as they hurtle around their foes' flanks or tear through their battle lines and out the other side, amidst clouds of fumes and dust. They are particularly fond of a good chase, as it really lets them open up their throttles against foes who would seek to flee from them or even engage in hit-and-run style warfare. Their enemies that do this quickly find themselves in a life or death race against a pack of wildly grinning Evil Sunz orcs. Their colors of choice are bright oranges and reds, which comes as little surprise considering the orcs' inherent belief that red things go faster. The orcs of the Evil Sunz that manage to scrape together enough teeth will inevitably blow them on a
Oh, mind you, teeth is orc currency, by the way. Because orcs lose teeth and regrow them quickly. So they collect teeth as currency, just so you know that.
souped up dragsta or its equivalent from one of the Mech Boys' workshops. And the Mech Boys have a ton of different vehicles to choose from half-track warbikes, teleporting combat dragstas, speed wagons bristling with guns, overcharged trucks, or other vehicular nightmares pulled out of the deepest corners of the Mech Boys' imagination. Each of the orcs of the Evil Sunz will end up customizing their rides with bizarre personal improvements, and it's not uncommon for the richest Evil Sunz to drive contraptions powered by jet thrusters, bladed propellers, or squig oil fusion engines. These vehicles boast everything from crackling energy blasters to nose drills, and each of which, of course, wouldn't be complete without a giant red Go Fasta button that also doubles as a cigar lighter. Because of their obsession
Go
with
faster.
speed, the Evil Sunz tend to live a nomadic life, rarely staying in one place for long. It's important to know that although the Evil Sunz have the largest concentration of speed freaks within their ranks, not all speed freaks are members of the Evil Sunz. They are actually two completely different things. In fact, the speed freaks belong to an orc subculture that is oftentimes referred to as the Cult of Speed. These are orcs that are addicted to racing into battle as fast as possible, and they do so aboard whatever scrap metal speedster, souped up dragsta, or warbike they can get their hands on. Speed freaks will often gather together in sizable mobs during the rare lulls between warfare and engage in breakneck races around, or as is more often the case with the orcs, right through their tribe's encampments. I'll forgive you for thinking that other orcs would be upset by such displays, but the reality is they view it as peak entertainment, placing huge bets on whatever speed freak they believe will make it over the finish line first, or conversely, who will end up on fire in a ditch. At the end of the day, all orcs like to go fast. Some just like it a lot more than others. Speed freaks can exist in any of the orc clans, just the largest concentration of them happens to be within the Evil Sunz. The currency that the Evil Sunz use to purchase these vehicles are teeth, the orcs' most common form of currency, and it makes sense for them to use these, as there's a steady supply and they grow at a very predictable rate. However, there is a clan known as the Bad Moons that has a natural advantage over other orcs in that their teeth grow at a much faster rate. Because of this, the Bad Moons have become known as the richest orc clan, and these orcs love flaunting their wealth through garishly colored clothing, copious amounts of flashy gold piercings and jewelry, and even more gaudy hats and trinkets. But even more so than clothing, the Bad Moons put their teeth into ever more flashy and lethal custom war gear. They sport the most cutting edge of orc technology and have some of the biggest and killiest guns. Naturally, their clan color is yellow, which the orcs associate with wealth and better explosions. They plaster it
Better explosions. Better explosions. I guess.
on everything they own, whether it's on themselves or whatever they're riding into war. The Bad Moons have a reputation for being looters, mercilessly ransacking the temples and cultural centers of different species in order to steal everything golden or fancy they can get their claws on. Oftentimes, they will wear these ancient relics of significant importance to a different species as a trinket or trophy, or, as is more common, it melt them down to make something more distinguished and elegant, like a hulking gold nose ring or a gold-plated ram for the front of their battle wagon. There are even some reports of the Bad Moons melting down said artifacts of other races to use as golden bullets for their guns. The only real drawback to their over-the-top way of life is that the average Bad Moon warband can be seen coming from a mile away. One recorded instance stated that the Bad Moon's incoming assault was spotted with the naked eye from low orbit. The Bad Moons don't think this is a problem, however. If the enemy knows where they are, they reason that a good fight will be coming sooner rather than later. Their warbands are famous for their abundance of overwhelming firepower, riding into battle with belligerent confidence, and laying down enough Daka to take the legs out from a charging Imperial Knight. They utilize a vast array of custom shooters, crackling energy weapons, tricked out battle wagons, and squadrons of aircrafts that are so loaded up with frankly ridiculous amounts of Daka that it's honestly a miracle they can get airborne at all. Orcs
Listen, it's a miracle that any orc technology works. Okay, it is a miracle because we're talking about morons. We're talking about collective idiots. I mean, now maybe The goblins are a little smarter. They are usually the thinkers and all this kind of shit, but orcs are dumb. So it really is a miracle that their war machines work at all. It really is.
Of other clans tend to look down on the Bad Moons, thinking them weak and show-offish. But the reality is that they're just as tough as the other orcs. They just like to be blisteringly visible whenever they fight. And if the orcs of the other clans were being honest, they might just be jealous of some of that fancy war gear the Bad Moons has access to. On the opposite end of the spectrum, we have the Snakebites, who prefer to live a much more primitive life and are as far away from the Bad Moons as you can possibly get. As instead of wearing the flashy, obnoxious clothing of the Bad Moons, they prefer to wear gnarled, weather-worn garbs made from beast-hide leather. The Snakebites are as traditional as orcs come, favoring primitive war gear in comparison to the Bad Moon's flashy Daka. They show nothing but hate for anything they see as needlessly newfangled or fiddly.
I find this very interesting as a faction of orcs in 40K. I find it very interesting.
Which, if we're being honest, encompasses the vast majority of things within the galaxy. They are seen as grumpy, stodgy, and uncompromising in their views, and look down on other orcs who utilize tech they don't understand. They're basically the orc boomers, and prefer to live by what they refer to as the old ways. Now, that's not to say that they don't utilize anything that could
Amish orcs.
be called technology, as they have their share of mech boys and pain boys as well, just like every other clan. These individuals are just vastly outnumbered by runt herds and weird boys. They employ their orky know-whats only grudgingly, and don't consider a machine or weapon proper until they've built up a good helping of rust or oil. The Snakebites prefer a much more direct solution whenever one is available. Why waste time dyeing their beast hide in funny colors when they could leave them leathery and cure them with squig urine? Why would an orc waste time building a hut when they could just weather the world's storms like a proper orc? Why mess around with high-tech chain-bladed choppas when they're just going to end up getting clogged up with Humy bits anyways? Especially when a solid metal club will bash in skulls all day every day and never run out of fuel. The other orcs view the Snakebites as crude savages, and although they
but them clubs ain't going to get through Space Marine armor too easy.
they openly mock their way of life, none of them would deny that living in such a manner makes the Snakebites as hard as they come. To prove just how tough they are, the Snakebites have a ritual wherein each one of them will have to endure being bitten by a plethora of deadly venomous snakes that the clan has collected from across the stars. This has led to many worlds that get invaded by the Snakebites to have the unfortunate side effect of having said snakes released onto their planet. Even if the orcs are ultimately pushed back, this once peaceful world is now full of horrifically poisonous snakes. So I mean, like, it's not even really worth defending anymore at that point. Although the other orcs look at the Snakebites as being pretty strange, there is actually another orc clan that is hands down seen as utterly alien to the other orcs. And that's the Blood Axes, the current title holder of strangest and most bizarre of all the orc clans. A title that is well-deserved, as they do things the other orcs believe are unthinkable. Grievous sins that spit in the face of orc tradition and trample uncaringly on their admittedly limited philosophical beliefs. They have shown a fascination with the tactics and strategies employed by other races, and have gone so far as to formulate battle plans and wear crude camouflage of their own. Needless to say, their infatuation with all things tactical has earned the Blood Axes the moniker of a bunch of cunning gits by the other orc clans. And although they do seem to be tactical masterminds amongst other orcs, from our perspective at the end of the day, they're still orcs, so their tactics are often very direct and extremely violent, often centered around strategies that will see them get stuck in a fight in the fastest and most enjoyable way. In battle, the Blood Axes will deploy commando mobs to sever enemy communication channels and blow up supply depots. They use high-altitude flyovers of death copters to scout and determine where the enemy is in advance of their hordes. For the Blood Axes, there is no greater joy than catching the enemy off guard in a ferocious ambush of...
I'm sorry I'm not talking as much. I'm enjoying myself listening to this orc stuff. Because I know more about orc fantasy lore than I do about 40K lore. So I can't... My commentary is limited about what I can add to it.
Armored orcs that pulverize their way through the enemy ranks. These ambushes have been incredibly successful for them, and they mock the stupid gits of the other clans for not being cunning enough to come up with such genius strategies themselves. But unfortunately for the Blood Axes, the orcs of the other clans will most likely never see them as anything more than a bunch of unorky cowards. Their ways are just too bizarre and alien to them. The most shocking thing that they do from the other clan's perspective is the attacking of the enemy lines when they're at their weakest. instead of charging headlong into the meat grinder of the biggest and best available fight. To the other orc clans, this is just further evidence of their cowardice. But what they failed to realize is that the Blood Axes like a good crumping just as much as any other orc. They just prefer the odds to be in their favor. My absolute favorite thing about the Blood Axes is that unlike other clans, they don't actually have a favorite color. They instead like to wear camouflage, as many of the other races who use similar tactics to them seem to put a high value on splotchy patterns. They realize that camouflage makes them sneakier, but they don't really fully grasp why. It's not uncommon to see an army of Blood Axes in a wide array of contrasting color schemes, each one of them wearing camouflage, but the particular colors of which rarely match the actual environment. Their belief in camouflage as the superior paint scheme is so strong that they'll even paint their very not sneaky airplanes and war engines in a similar manner. To them, the busier and more thickly applied the camouflage, the sneakier their vehicles will be. This might seem like a silly tradition to people who have read about it but never witnessed it in person. But I'll tell you what, when you see a 50-foot Stompa covered in rainbow tiger stripes lumbering towards you, it's a sight that you won't soon forget.
Yeah, you think that rainbow stomp is going to fuck you in the ass.
An interesting thing about the Blood Axes is that in the wild frontiers of the Imperium, it's not completely unheard of for them to sell their services as mercenaries. There have been numerous documented accounts of them working alongside humans, and normally demanding payment in the form of weapons, armors, vehicles, and scrap metal of all kinds. However, these reports also indicate that the Blood Axes traditionally will turn those weapons against the enemies of their employers before inevitably turning them back on their employers as well. They are a very interesting clan that doesn't care what anyone thinks of them. They value results over reputation and will gladly let the other clans take the brunt of the hit in battle, where they use tactics and strategies to always come out on top. From the Imperium's perspective, the orcs are the most dangerous enemy to fight against as they are completely unpredictable. The Blood Axes take this to an entirely different level, because if somebody was just to say out loud that the orcs are capable of strategizing, that idea in itself is tantamount to heresy. The Blood Axes are all too happy to prove their enemies wrong. If the Blood Axes are looked down upon for being sneaky through the use of tactics and ambushes, then the Death Skulls have a similar sneaky reputation, but theirs comes from them being a bunch of shifty, thieving gits. Google defines property as a thing or things belonging to someone, and I think we can all agree that possessing a thing that you bought or created makes it your property. Well, the orcs of the Death Skulls feel that possession is merely 9/10 of the law, while the last 10th is violently asserting the other 9. They are a sneaky, amoral bunch of orcs who will gleefully steal another orc's favorite Shuda from right under his nose, before swiftly painting it blue and throwing a couple of customizations onto it, before turning around and selling it right back to them as a brand new piece of gear. It says a lot about just how smart orcs are that the Death Skulls get away with these scams pretty smoothly, and they've proven to be quite lucrative for them. There have been other instances where an orc will call them out for thieving, and they'll discover too late in the ensuing fight that someone also nicked all of the pins on the stick bombs on their belt. They are a superstitious lot that puts a lot of stock in the color blue as being the luckiest color. Thus, them and all of their equipment sports a thick, heavy coat of it, allowing them to pull off heists that none of the other clans would be capable of. Don't get it twisted. At the end of the day, the Death Skulls are still orcs. They like a proper fight just as much as the other clans. They just see battle primarily as an opportunity.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. That fits. It fits. It works.
For some good old-fashioned looting. Before the fight gets underway, it's not uncommon for the Death Skulls to be sizing up enemy tanks, weapons, planes, and war engines as something that they would like to nab when the fighting is done. Or to be honest, in a lot of instances, a horde of Death Skulls will whip out wrenches in the middle of a fight and start prying bars mid-battle.
Man, we gonna take the hubcaps and the wheels off this thing right away. We want them radios now. It's gotta steal it in the middle of a fight. Jesus.
Enemy tanks or fortifications apart for useful scrap. This is especially distressing to whatever enemy crew or garrison troops may still happen to be inside that fortification or vehicle at the time. So their enemies don't like them, and the other orcs hate them. But that doesn't mean the Death Skulls don't have some pretty important friends, as the Mech Boys absolutely love these guys, as they provide a constant stream of loot and components for their crazy inventions. When the fighting is done, the Death Skulls will often latch long, rusty chains to any burned-out wrecks and drag them to the nearest mech workshop. The mechs, in turn, will provide them with better custom gear, new vehicles, and upgrade all of their existing DACA with wildly inventive new customized bits. Because of their thieving ways and alliance with the Mech Boys, the Death Skulls are famous for having the most weird orc technology within their warbands. Whether those take the form of bubble chuckas, teleporter technology, customized energy fields, or just about any other crazy invention the Mech Boys can come up with. So now that we know about all of the major orc clans, let's talk about my personal favorite, which exists as a bit of an oddity because it's not actually recognized as a clan at all. In fact, if we wanted to get technical with it, it's a clan for the clanless. You see, not all orcs end up fitting into their tribe's unique culture, and they might be too mean and spiteful, have funny ideas about loot, or they may not be able to grasp the concept that those that are bigger, tougher, and meaner than them are naturally their betters. One of the fundamental orky laws of the universe. Such individuals may find themselves as outcasts and thrown out of their tribe. Now, if they manage to survive, they may just become what is known as a freebooter instead. The freebooters are the sneakiest, nastiest, and most self-interested orcs in the galaxy. They are a host of adventurers, rogues, and mercenaries who rebel even against the strictures of orc society. Any orc can become a freebooter. It doesn't matter if they're a mech, pain boy, knob, weird boy, whatever. The only requirement is that they don't fit into where they were born and find a new family amongst a bunch of other orky misfits instead. It might not have been their decision to leave. They may have committed to a string of misdeeds that finally got to be too much for their warlord to tolerate. Whether they take the form of a bad mech who built a contraption that blew up half his tribe, a speed freak that applied one too many unstable custom jobs to an excessive number of the tribe's wagons, or a pain boy who had a particular fascination with stitching on extra limbs to his patients. Because they are made up of a mismatch of different orcs, each freebooter crew is wholly unique, and there's no telling what they're going to end up fielding in battle. The idea of the freebooters is built upon the rejection of orc culture, but even then, some traditions are too deeply ingrained even for them. They still mob up with other like-minded orcs, it's just that they're like-minded misfits and outcasts, and it's said that their warbands accumulate like void barnacles on a kill cruiser's hull. They are a band of motley mercenary pirates that roam the galaxy's space lanes at random, preying on everything from cargo ships and warcrafts to isolated colonies and naval space stations. Although, realistically, the freebooters will raid and loot anything that they deem quote-unquote worth a go. The freebooters are perhaps the only orcs that don't fight simply for the joy of fighting. They are pirates and expect financial compensation for their efforts. Each and every one of them is driven by the innate desire to claw together as much loot as possible. And whether that loot come in the form of teeth, scrap, weapons, or anything they happen to fancy, like gaudy clothes and trinkets, or in one famous instance, an inquisitor's fancy hat.
I like your hat, by the way.
Their war bosses often title themselves as captains or admirals, or other such terms that they admittedly don't fully understand. They just recognize that it has something to do with sailing and it sounds fancy.
Yarr!
These war bosses rule by two simple principles. And the first is that as long as the loot keeps flowing, then the lads are less likely to challenge them. And the second is that the freebooters are ferociously competitive and will always try to prove that they're better than their crewmates. A cunning captain will keep the boys busy trying to one-up each other. That way they don't get any funny ideas in their head that challenging the captain is actually a good idea. From the outside perspective, members of the Imperium and other xenospecies that frequently come into contact with the orcs don't see any of this freebooter culture. They just see a bunch of frenzied orc raiders that have taken a fancy to motley pirate garb and have come to loot, plunder, and murder everything in their path. But from the audience's perspective, they're a bunch of orc pirates. What's not to love? All of the orc clans are wildly unique and a super interesting part of Warhammer's lore. Which one was your favorite and why? What's your favorite thing about the orcs? Are they actually the best faction in all of 40K, or do you think their popularity is simply a result of them having the best memes? Let me know all of your thoughts down in the comment section because I genuinely love hearing what you all think. Also, let me know what other topics you'd love to hear me cover.
All right, that's enough. I appreciate that he did this off camera. I don't think I could have taken half an hour of him on camera. It would have been very annoying. But I wish he talked more about animosity. Because clearly he talked about the clans and that. He didn't talk about, and he touched on orc lifestyle. Excuse me. But I really wish that he had talked about stuff like animosity and what it takes to be a war boss. And I would have, I guess there are other videos for that to talk about famous war bosses, famous wogs that had nearly broken the galaxy, stuff like that. Because these are fantastic because he touches on it, and what he doesn't get into is the fact that when a massively big wog happens, 9 times out of 10, you simply need to survive until it inevitably collapses under its own weight. Because he mentioned it a little bit when they break apart, particularly big wog will break apart, and it creates new orc clans and that. That it's not they don't have animosity anymore. What? If they took out animosity, then orcs are just like any other fucking army. They have animosity is what makes playing an orc unique and interesting. That you have to try and manage animosity. You have to build in redundancies or build in backup plans for if animosity fucks you over. If they took out animosity, that's really fucking gay. If they took animosity out, because animosity was great. It's a fun game mechanic and it makes the orcs unique. But as I was saying, you need to understand that when a wog is so large, it will inevitably break apart. And that's sometimes the only thing that saves anything is that the wog collapses under its own weight. Tournament friendly. Pfft. Bullshit, man. So I love orcs. Orcs are great. I will play them. They will be generally my default choice in any Warhammer based game. If they're an option, I will generally choose greenskins because I just find them fun. I find them fascinating, and it's a joy to play them because it's always amusing. Because animosity makes it fun. All right, there we go. Thank you, Kel, for that $20. I look forward to whatever we have in store next. $30 on stream elements from Kratos El Grados. Watch War of the Worlds 2025 and, of course, compare it to the gold standard of bad movies, The Room. Okay, well, it is already Wednesday. I will try. If I don't get it done, I think I can get it done for Friday, Kel. I think I can get it done for Kel, Kratos. Let's put it down. I'm going to try and get it done for Friday. And if I don't, then it'll be first thing Monday. So definitely either Friday or Monday, depending how the rest of the week goes. All right, so there you go, guys. We've got a schedule going into my punishment. I've heard horrific things about that movie, so I guess I'm going to find out for myself how bad it is. Knowing, hang on, the stretch. Never fight the stretch. Never fight the stretch. Always let it happen. I've heard that it was a movie made during COVID, so that's one of the reasons it is the way it is, because nobody could be. They were so afraid to have people in the same room with each other. Anyway, all right. So there, we've got a review plan this week, and we've got other things happening as well. Remember, tonight is a Wednesday night, so that means it is a Warhammer Wednesday. We'll be playing some Space Marine 2. I'm assuming around 8:30. That's what I'm assuming. I do have to go out in a couple of hours, but that shouldn't impede anything. Other than that, I don't know what the rest of the week looks like in terms of streaming. Tomorrow will be tomorrow. As I said, I will be at some point tonight, I will be recording the Furry Hitler 30 minutes. I will then edit it up as necessary, and depending on what it is, I might just give you guys the online. I might just review it and talk about it on stream while playing the video in the background. So as the evidence that I did do the 30 minutes, because I honestly don't know. I can't put this up on I can't put it up on the channel. At the same time, I mentioned this last night. I might have mentioned it yesterday on stream. I am sort of retiring the Renaissance Nerd Arcade channel. I'm not going to take it down because it's got a bunch of content up there that would be a pain in the ass to bring over to this channel. But I'm essentially not going to upload stuff in there anymore. I may resurrect it when the channel is really doing better and we have more subscribers coming in, more people coming in, and people might want to do that. But primarily also that channel isn't monetized. It's not as well known as this channel. So it takes away from content for this channel. So the rule right now is when gaming streams that are solo gaming streams will essentially be up for a couple days, then go unlisted, and then go to the membership section, providing membership content for the channel if you miss them. So no, boo, boo. Animosity is no longer a thing. I gotta tell you, man, they've sucked all the fun out of tabletop. James Workshop just sucks the fun out of tabletop. No more animosity. No more animosity. That's terrible. It's not so much about that, Kel, Kratos. It's about I don't want a video titled Furry Hitler on my channel. I really don't. I do not want to accidentally bring in a crowd like that or have any sort of notoriety for that. I just don't. It's one thing. I'll talk about it on stream. I will show my evidence play it. I will play it because you guys paid me to play it. I don't really want to put that on my channel. I really don't. It's just, yeah. It's just, I'll record it. It'll be there. I don't know what that first 30 minutes is going to be like because those games, to get to the good stuff, if you're playing one of those types of interactive porn games, it takes a little while because you have to earn affection. You have to unlock scenes. You got to do stuff. And yes, I'm not gonna lie. I've played porno games before, but you have to earn that stuff. It doesn't just happen. You have to work it. You have to work through the story. So I don't know what we're actually going to get in those 30 minutes. I don't. And I can't stream it. It is not a streamable game where you guys can pile on the 30 minutes as I'm going to keep the pain and suffering going. Oh, also a reminder again, got to remember, speaking of purchase time, thanks to Dom, I will be playing an hour and a half of Party Animals with everybody this Saturday night for Saturday Night Co-op. And hopefully it's only an hour and a half. I don't think I'm going to like that game. I really don't. It's not a game that I think I'm going to like. And yeah, they do hate their customers. And they hate their own product. Why get rid of animosity? It's what made orcs unique. That is just, I do not understand. I don't understand. This makes me never want to play again. You got rid of animosity. You got rid of something that made my faction fun to play. I don't want to play anymore. I really don't. I'll play video games. That's great. But I don't want to play tabletop. I don't. This takes the fun. Sucked right out. Fun is gone. Gone. Oh, that disappoints the hell out of me. It really does. All right, guys. If we don't have anything else, I am going to wrap it up for the day. To streamline for, yeah, it's pathetic. It's pathetic. That is a pathetic reason. Pathetic reason. We're going to wrap it up. Thank you, everybody, for joining me today. I hope you guys had a good time. Best way to do that is to hit that like button and subscribe. YouTube has been taking away my subscribers at a steady rate for 2 weeks now. We are losing all the gains we got from our Superman coverage. So please like, share, get people to subscribe, let people know the channel's going. We're heading through into a little bit of a rough patch, it seems, and I just need to try and keep weathering it. And I do that because of your support. Your support helps me get through it. I appreciate each and every one of you. Thank you for helping me out. Shout it out, guys. It looks like things didn't change crossing 4,000. The algorithm still treats me like shit, and YouTube is still asshole. Anyway, we'll fight through it. We'll find a way. That's what we always do. You never know what might be the thing. So let's get to it. And don't you dare spout that heretical propaganda. Don't you dare. Don't you dare. All right, guys. I will see you tonight with some Space Marine 2 and other stuff. So take it easy, guys. See you later.